Hey there traders, welcome to another market update video. Today is the 19th of March 2021. Just to explain, yesterday I did make a market update video. Unfortunately, just forgot to post it. So hopefully this one gets posted today and you guys will know what's happening. So let's start off on Bitcoin on the daily chart here. I did speak about this yesterday, the fact that we bounced off the 21 exponential, closing above the 10 simple for 1, 2, 3 days now. Looks like we're trying for another fourth day. Is an extremely bullish signal, at least to come back up and test the previous all-time high. Currently, the previous all-time high was 58,000, somewhere around here. And that seems to be holding quite well as support. So this is easy to play. This is, well, not easy to play, but fairly simple to play. Any kind of 4-hour candle close below 55,500, let's call it that, this previous pivot point right here, would suggest that we'll see a further extension at the very least back down to $50,500, somewhere around this previous level of structure. So if I draw in my drawing tools, you'll see what I'm talking about. If we take out this previous swing low, chances are we'll probably make it back down here. It lines up with the 61.8% retracement level from this swing low to this swing high. So I'd be looking at that as an opportunity if we did make it back down there, not necessarily as a terrible thing. Daily Stokes crossed to the downside, pointing south. Is this a terrible thing? Not necessarily. Uh, does that imply perhaps some more short-term downside? Perhaps, but we'll talk about the 12-hour stochastics rather, because I do want to point this out. We just got a cross back to the upside inside of the bullish control zone, which is a very good signal. Usually when we see the 12-hour Stokes cross, we can see that it has called most of our major swings. For example, we had a lovely cross right down here, right over here, which resulted in a 8% bump. We did have another cross right down here, which resulted in a 21% pump. Then this cross happened right inside of the bullish control zone. After some consolidation, you can see the same pattern right over here, which is interesting, right? If you look at that right over there. Um, Consolidated for 1, 2, 3 days. Oh, sorry, this is 12-hour chart, 2 days about. And then we had that bullish cross on the Stokes once again, giving us this entire swing to the upside. So looking at this from a momentum oscillator point of view, in the bullish control zone crossing to the upside, I think that's an extremely good signal for Bitcoin to at least come back up and sweep the highs around that new all-time high. RSI, I spoke about this yesterday. I do like this signature coming back down, bouncing from the neutral zone, showing that the bias really pretty much is bullish, at the very least for the medium term still, right? Short term, could see some sideways action before we see anything really that excites us. But this is lining up to further extend to the upside, in my opinion. I do think Bitcoin could stand the chance to even take out the previous all-time high and make new ones. So all of these candles, all of these things are pointing to the upside. We are now just waiting for market structure to be violated. So we've got this brand new little high right over here. This is a high that I'm going to be paying attention to. So if this high is taken out on a 4-hour closing basis, I would expect that move to continue. But to the same token, if we do take out this low, I would expect to move back down to 54, 300-ish, and then a short-term bounce from there. But I do think ultimately, if we do start breaking down from here, 52K is going to be my target, to potentially take some long positions again down here and target moves back up to the prior all-time high. Okay, so I'm trying to keep this simple. Just understand that I'm short-term bullish, medium-term bullish, long-term bullish on all of these assets. If we go and look at the weekly chart, this kind of signature, this kind of pull back up on a weekly chart does usually suggest that we're going to have a pretty good ending to the week. It usually does mean that we're not going to confirm this as a local top just yet, which means that this divergence play is most likely not going to play out that big of a deal. Weekly Stokes still in the critical zone, way up there. That's fine. Still cross to the upside, losing a little bit of momentum. So, it's completely normal in a bullish market for us to move inside of the critical zone up and down like this. Let me just go back throughout the history here so that you can see exactly what I mean, right? This was the 2017 rally, and we kept seeing the Stokes in the critical zone, and every single pullback would point towards the 21 exponential. We even had plenty of bearish divergence plays here, and a lot of shorters that got caught by the market for trying to short all of these bearish divergences. Yes, did we have pullbacks? Definitely. Did those pullbacks get bought back up? Definitely. So looking at this market structure, definitely still bullish here. Any kind of local top being confirmed here, yes, then I would look at a move back down to the 21 exponential. That does line up with the prior weekly closing basis around 38,000. Let's call it 38,400-ish. I don't think I have any drawing tools in there. So let me just plot this line right there. That's the level that I would look for Bitcoin to come back down to if this was to confirm as a local top. All right. So for now, let's stick to the lower term time frames. Let's see what this bad boy wants to do throughout the rest of the day. Looking at the market structure here, looking at the volume, looking at everything else. This is more or less looking constructive. And like I said, I would not be surprised if we do have a short-term pushback up to about $60,100, $60,200 throughout the course of the day. And then if we do take out this previous swing high, I would expect even more continuation on top of that. So that's it for Bitcoin. Let's jump quickly to Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash bouncing off the 55 exponential is a pretty good signal, but I would like for it to take out this previous pivot around 541. I would be looking at that as a major pivot. In fact, well, not a major pivot, but for the shorter term time frames, a major pivot. The major pivots are really up here around 595. That's more of the medium term pivots. That's why we've got this line in here. So if Bitcoin Cash does start to close 4-hour candles above this previous little swing high that we've got in right over here, that's when things start to shape up and look a little bit more bullish for this particular asset. At the moment, I don't like this market structure too much. It kind of does make me think that this one does want to break down even further, perhaps come and sweep the lows down here. We could even see it come as low as $450. So that is something to keep in mind for Bitcoin Cash. But I'd expect this to be picked up and continue with the rest of the market. Like I said yesterday, some people might see this as a head and shoulders. I wouldn't quite agree with the volume signature on that. Momentum oscillators also not really agreeing with that being a head and shoulders. In fact, the RSI, this particular signature here, I do like. I think this could be a bullish reset before we see a next extension to the upside. So with that being said, I'd be patient on this one. I don't think I'm kind of more neutral than anything else. 4-hour Stokes cross to the upside, still very much pointing north. We are reaching the edge of that bullish control zone. Any kind of rejection from this point, I would look at as a clear signal for us to melt back down, perhaps back down to 509. If we take out that pivot, definitely for 490, 485, somewhere around there. So yeah, Bitcoin Cash could possibly be one of those that break down actually. Let's talk about Mr. Buteroll, Ethereum. Ethereum, looking at it from just market structure point of view, this is looking pretty good actually. We're still holding above our previous pivot, so we didn't close yesterday's daily candle below our previous pivot, which is coming in around about 1761.82. And now we're looking at the next pivot around 182.02. So let's just see, we've got two drawing tools in there to beautifully illustrate that. We've got this horizontal liquid zone coming in right there, and we've got this one coming in right there. So Ethereum, more or less overall constructive here. There's nothing really that I could say that makes me bearish on this. Bounce of the 55 exponential, holding 21 as we're consolidating and moving sideways. Is that necessarily a bad thing in and of itself? Definitely not. We've seen this throughout the history of these coins, moving sideways, holding the 21 exponential as support. So I think Ethereum probably will continue to the upside and follow suit with the rest of the crypto market like Bitcoin. But I would want to see it take out 1846.24, this previous swing high right here on the 4-hour candle chart. That's when I'll look for the next extension back up to 1930.81. Moving averages looking more or less constructive here as well. So that's why I'm saying that, perhaps we do see continuation here. If we start seeing breakdowns in price here, we'll start shorting Ethereum for sure. 4-hour stochastics just about to cross back up in the neutral zone. We did get rejected by the bullish control zone, but if we get a rejection and an immediate cross almost from that, that's usually a signal that we might just come back up and sweep the highs. Bouncing off the 100 exponential. If we close above the 55 exponential again here by 10 o'clock today, I'd definitely look at this one to continue at the very least back up to 1844.31. Okay, that's it for Ethereum. Let's quickly talk